Hello, Culture Matters podcast. I'm so excited for our episode today. Before I introduce you to our guest, here's a quote just for this episode. Circumstances don't make a man, they reveal him. Dr. Wayne Dyer, our guest today, a great friend to Culture Matters, because when I was running around for years, sweating, just trying to get the name out there, so many people in around the real estate community said, you got to meet Ed. You got to meet Ed. You got to meet Ed. That's the guy. And our guest today, part of his brand, everything real estate. I know that as a consumer in the general greater Philadelphia marketplace, because I was hearing this. You got to meet Ed. You got to meet Ed. He's a leader, a coach, a founder of B5, which
B5
is we're going
Method.
to talk about today. A great friend and a colleague of some of our great, we love them so much, guests of the Culture Matters podcast, Ken Jordan and Joseph Iredale, who have been on their amazing show and works with Ken and has been a mentor to those in and around real estate for years and years and years, whose story is very impactful. And I can't wait to talk about it. Been a leader since probably 4 years old, and we can get into why I learned that earlier today preparing. Ed Fordyce, thanks for coming on the show.
It's great to be here, man. And I'm glad Ken, two things I'm really grateful for is number one, Ken reconnecting you and I, and number two, me partnering with Ken and his company. He's one of my favorite human beings on planet Earth that just happened to be the best at what he does in the
Mm.
mortgage business.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. What would now when it comes to I remember you telling a story one time about how in Wawa, just how like people that are in Wawa, you would start a conversation. And like, what would be your first tip on somebody that feels awkward or intimidated to make a friend with a stranger? Like, I want to start there.
Yeah, I think it's real for me. It's real simple. Is give a compliment. So if I'm, and believe it or not, I think all of us are extrovert introverts. All of us have this introvert in them. Um, but if I'm really an introvert, I might say like, "Hey man, I like that hat. What does BA stand for?"
Oh, that's music to my ears. The BA stands for one of my best friends' company called Board of Advisors, that connects human beings like yourself, like me, to one another to get information around entrepreneurship to help them grow their business. I'm like so excited to talk about it because I love, shout out
Yeah,
to Mike Calhoun, and all because you asked me what my hat was about.
yeah. So I mean, that's it. A lot of times, if so, I've quite a few tattoos. I might look at somebody's tattoo and go, "I really like your artwork. Where did you get it done, or is there any meaning behind it?" Or, "Oh my God, that's such a beautiful cross." Or just something like if they have a great attitude and it's always authentic. Hey man, you made my day today. Your energy made my day today. Where did you learn that from? Yeah. So that's how I would advise anybody to connect to other human beings. Best thing we can do is to make someone's day.
Why?
When you give a compliment, number one, it releases, we were talking about mindset, it releases great chemicals and it creates this bond, man. It's a beautiful thing.
What do you think is behind like us forgetting the little things?
Oh, that's a really good question. If I'm being, and like we were talking, like being brutally honest about things, the thing that makes us forget the little things is we are inherently self-centered. And most human beings, all we do is think about ourselves.
Mm.
So, the juice of life comes from helping other people, collaborating with other people. We think it comes from getting things. And that's one thing I train my tribe on is this thing that I've uh, uh, coined, the disease of more.
Mm.
And the disease of more has us constantly chasing more, 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 more. Now, don't get me wrong. It's great to achieve. It's great to grow. It's one of the primary human needs is growth and progress. But when it's never enough, it always leaves us empty and frustrated.
Mm,
Always.
mm.
Yeah, and that's like a fine line between genius and insanity. It's the same kind of fine line of like, all right, well, wait a minute. I'm afraid if I don't do that, I'll stop growing. But what we do, I'll give you a perfect example. This morning, I go in the gym, I do an insane workout, which I do a lot of times. I have to drop my car off to get the tires changed. Or drop my car off. I'm about a mile from my house. Right. And my body's smoked. My legs are smoked. But I'm like, I'm gonna run to my house, get
Wow.
another mile in. And dude, I'm hurting. I'm tired. My legs are smoked. And my head's going like the one voice I have in my head is David Goggins, like, keep going, boy, keep going, no pain, all that stuff. I pull that out when I need it. But what I'm doing is I'm setting myself up for failure. I already did a workout that 99.999% of human beings could not do. But here I go, the disease of more. I got to do more. I got to do more. And I just literally stopped about 3/4 of the way to my house and went, I'm good, man. I'm proud of myself today.
Wow.
Yeah.
How has that helped you value yourself?
Well, I didn't realize this, but for years, I set myself up for failure every single day. Again, if I went out and ran a 4-minute mile, my brain would go, yeah, but you let up during that last turn. You could have ran a 3:57. So number one, I think that there's 4 questions that I've learned to ask.
Mm,
Stole this from Gabby Bernstein. She's a great author, great speaker. I love her. But this is what primes my central nervous system and my brain. So, and before I go through the 4 questions, I'll highly recommend a book. I've read over 1,400 books, brother. And I'll tell you this book, Don't Believe Everything You Think. I read it every day. I've read it probably 10 times, and I will read it every day of my life for the rest of my life. Phenomenal. It's about 120 pages long. But here are the 4 questions. Number 1, and I ask this out loud to myself every day, and I answer out loud. So the 4 questions, and this is to prime my central nervous system and my brain. Question number 1, how do I want to feel today? I answer that out loud and have some fun with it, man. Be playful. I want to feel alive. I want to feel passionate. I want to feel sexy. I want to feel successful. I want to feel powerful. I want to feel. Question number 2, who do I want to be today? I want to be the best pop ever. I want to be the best father. I want to be the best leader. I want to be the best influencer. I want to be the best giver. I want to be the best love leader ever. Question number 3, what do I want to receive today? I want to receive even more of God's grace. I want to receive love. I want to receive hope. I want to receive 10 more coaching clients. I want to receive 8 listings. I want to receive 15 more partners in my real estate business. I want to receive. And then the last question is, what do I want to give today? The secret to living is giving. I want to give hope. I want to give faith. I want to give belief. I want to give love. I want to give great content. I want to give great strategies. So that's how I calibrate my days where I no longer have bad days. I might have bad moments or a bad hour. But yeah, and all of this, by the way, is all we can get into this, is all due to almost 22 years of recovery. All of it.
I want to make sure I have the questions written down correctly. How do I want to feel today? Who do I want to be today? What do I want to receive today? What do I want to give?
That's it. Yep, you got them right.
22 years of recovery. Do you remember the first the second day, I guess. Yeah, the second day.
Yeah. Yeah. So there's a lot to this, but I will go to the last day. November, I'm sorry, January 19th, I have my sobriety date on my arm,
Wow.
which is January 21st, 2003. So it was January 19th, 2003. The Eagles were playing the Buccaneers. At the time, I owned the West End Saloon and Media, and it was party time. And I started. It wasn't my worst binge, wasn't my longest binge, but I started about 3 in the afternoon, or no, probably started about noon that day, and went till the wee hours of the 20th, and ended up in not a. I just to make it easy, I say I almost died in a crack house. It wasn't a crack house, but there were people in there smoking crack. And I passed out at some point. I came to, I had to use the bathroom, and I was polluted, dude. I don't even know. I mean, I know I had a lot of booze and a lot of cocaine. Those were my go-tos. Who knows what else I put in my body? But I went to use the bathroom. When I went in there, I heard this sound that sounded like a hard drive shutting down. Literally, I heard it in my brain. And then my chest started heaving, like convulsing. And I grabbed the sink and I looked into the mirror and I said, fuck, I overdid it this time. I knew I was dying. I knew my heart was exploding. But I was relieved, man. I was like, thank God this is over. Like the devil had me by the throat. Anybody that is an active addict, alcoholic, it ain't fun, man. But all I could think of was, okay, whoever finds me dead, I don't want them to find me in a puddle of blood. I didn't want to smack my head on the tile floor and have my head crack open. So I remember as I'm phasing out, as I'm dying, which I'm pretty sure I did, and I had a cool vision like 5 years later, which we could get to. But I held onto the sink and just like lowered myself down. I remember hitting the ground with my shoulder, rolling over, and just prepared to die. And I was okay with it. I was okay with that because I knew I'd be out of the hell. And whenever I came to, I don't know how many hours it was later. It could have been 5 minutes. But when I came to and I knew I was gaining consciousness, I didn't open my eyes because I didn't know where I was going to be. I didn't know if I was going to be in heaven, hell, somewhere in the middle. I didn't know.
Wow.
And when I realized that I was alive, I just quietly said, that's it. I'm done. For those who are in recovery know that's what's called a spiritual awakening. I went home to my wife at the time, God bless her. And I said, your husband's a drunk and a junkie, and I'm done. Called a buddy of mine who I'd fired a year and 2 months before for being a drunk and a junkie. And he was sober, clean and sober. I called him. I said, dude, I'm all effed up, man. What do I do? He said, meet me and a couple guys for pizza tonight, and then we'll go hit a 12-step meeting. Met the guys. They were all around my age. And one put his hand on my shoulder. Till the day I die, like whenever I tell this story, I get choked up. He just looked at me and he said, hey, man, welcome. You're going to be okay. You're just like us.
Wow.
You just can't put booze and drugs in your body. For the first time in my life, probably, I felt comfortable in my own skin. Restless, irritable, discontent. That's what I was born with. Booze and drugs brought that to I could be around people then. I could feel comfortable in my own skin. And that was the start of my journey. And that was January 21st, 2003.
You were what, 37?
Yeah, I was 37, I think. Yeah.
Did you have your son yet at that point?
Dude, I had 3 kids. My oldest was 5. My kids were 5, 4, and 2.
What do
Yeah.
you say to the parents listening that they're right there, but they're not there yet?
Yeah. And I mean this. They know right now if it's affecting their family. They know. I don't have to explain even what that looks or feels like. Every child deserves a sober parent. Our kids did not ask us to be intoxicated, hungover, irritable, not holding up to our promises. I'll be at the game. I'll be at this. I'll be at that. I'll make your event. And I hear the horror stories, man. And the one, like, there's a lot that keeps me sober, and I will talk about myths. That like, do whatever it takes. This is life or death for a lot of people. I heard the stories of fathers who either were still actively drinking or maybe were actually clean and sober. And the day of their daughter's wedding, their daughter would call them and say, "Dad, I don't want you at the wedding. You weren't there for me, and I can't trust you. Not only are you not walking me down the aisle, I don't want you there. That ain't gonna fucking happen to me, brother. And I don't want it to happen to any other human being."
I think I have the book here.
There you go, brother.
What for those that aren't familiar with, man, who was the author of this?
Bill Wilson, Dr. Bob.
What chapter or because a lot of this is overwhelming for people, I think. Where do I start? Is there one
Yeah.
that pops out to you?
Yeah. So it's funny
I
because
I
I
have this
always,
on my Bible section of my office, like it's right there. I was like, I know I got to pull this out.
yeah. So two things. Number one, anybody that's questioning, am I not? First of all, if you're questioning it, you probably are. And it might be, and I don't want to confuse people, but like there's problem drinkers and then there's alcoholics. Problem drinkers can just sort of stop. This isn't good for me. Just like, you know, anything, we can just stop it without any help, without any program, without any rehab, without any detox, whatever. Then there's the addicts, alcoholics, right? Which I am that. I thought I was a problem drinker because I had the business. I drove the BMW. I had the cool house in Chester County, blah, 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 blah. Now, I couldn't, anybody can stop, it's staying stopped. And that's where a program comes in. So I would say read the doctor's opinion, the chapter on the doctor's opinion. But I will tell you what, on page 417 is a chapter on acceptance. And the first thing I have written is that this book is a design for living. That's what it's for. And 417 is about acceptance. So this is for any human being, and it's so cool. And acceptance is the answer to all my problems today. When I am disturbed, it is because I find some person, place, thing, or situation, some fact of my life unacceptable to me. And I can find no serenity until I accept that person, place, thing, or situation as being exactly the way it is supposed to be at this moment. So it goes on to talk about the alcoholism part of this, but I'll give you a real life example of peace. I'm in Miami at a real estate conference. Dude, there's no flights from Sarasota to Miami and Miami to Sarasota. So I have a choice. I'm either going to drive or I'm going to take a bus. The train's like 8 hours. It's a 4-hour drive. So I decide that I'm going to do this Flixbus thing. It's a new experience, right? Anyway, on the way home, the Miami traffic is nuts. So I check the Uber from my hotel to where I have to pick up this Flixbus. It's 23 minutes. That was at 10 in the morning. When I checked at 5:30, it was an hour and 20 minutes, dude. I missed the bus. I had to stay overnight. my Uber driver, actually, I would have been on time, but my Uber driver got lost. I was coming unglued. I was pissed. I wanted to get home, man. And then I went, I'm staying in Miami for an extra night, and it's going to cost me another, whatever, $100, $150. That's it. Once I accepted it, total peace and serenity, man.
Mm.
Total peace and serenity. So there's there's so many lessons in that book. There's so many lessons to emotional sobriety, again, that I bring to the real estate space and in my coaching and training. And, I get,
What do you say to someone that feels anxious to go to a meeting? They never been.
yeah. So I would say number one, talk to someone that goes to meetings. Be vulnerable. Dude, that's scary as can be, because what we're doing is we're waving the flag. We're surrendering. But I will tell you, there is not another organization that will love you more than a 12-step group. No, I would tell them you never have to hurt from alcohol or drugs again. We know we took the steps through that door. I walked into the 307 club, scared to death, ego shattered, ego shattered. And all they did was say, welcome, tell us your story, and tell the fucking truth.
Mm. Why is that important?
Telling the truth?
Yeah.
Yeah, because we're liars, man. Yeah. Like, and by liars, I mean, we're not bad people. We're just sick people when we're active. So, I've never seen someone come into a 12-step meeting and then leave and go, you know what? I was wrong. I'm not an alcoholic. I'm not an addict. Like, I overreacted. Yeah. And I would say, like, not just like everything, not every meeting. Like my first meeting that I went to, dude, like I was like, this is not for me. Thank God I had some guys that were like, try this meeting, try that meeting, try this meeting over here, try that. I'll go with you. And I was like, all right, I found my peeps. And it was a 7 a.m. meeting that met 7 days a week. It was called the Hair of the Dog. It's still around in Westchester. Yeah.
Wow.
And those were my peeps. Yeah.
How important is it? Because your Inspired Tribe is one of your groups. How important
Yeah.
is it to have a group, a tribe?
It's everything. It's everything. No one can do this journey alone. Just life, forget recovery. Like, need a tribe, Jay. Like, we need people around us that are going to love us, support us, hold us accountable, tell us, hey, you're much better than that. And also tell us, hey, great job, man. Take a couple of days off. I have men that are part of the tribe that, like, they hold me accountable to the work stuff is the easy stuff. It's how to be a better man, a better father. Dude, they lay into me when I've fallen off the tracks. And by falling off the tracks, I mean just my behavior, my ego. They will, and we hold each other accountable of how we treat the women in our lives. Like, that's a big one. So it's everything. If somebody doesn't have a tribe, you're probably just scared to be held accountable.
Do you think, is there a bias, an incorrect bias around, oh, successful people don't go to those meetings?
Yeah. That you're asking such great questions. So that was one of the fears. And I call this a divine download. One day this divine download came into me and went, Google celebrities and athletes in recovery.
Wow.
And when you do that, you see Elton John, you see Steven Tyler, you see Bradley Cooper, you see Melissa, I think her name's Melissa Vargas. I was like, this is a cool club to belong to, man. Are you kidding me? And that's why, like we were talking, like, I want to hire people who are recovered, not just staying sober, people who are recovered, who have been through the steps, because I know they're the real deal. I know what they've been through.
Mm.
I know that they're great communicators. I know that they have to tell the truth. I know that when they're wrong, they'll admit it.
Huh.
Yeah. So I'm, dude, I'm fine. I'm fine. Yeah, everybody's got something, and it's in every family. And the reason why I respect everybody's approach to this, but I'm out there with it, man. Like, I'm cool. And it's because I've got a voice, and people a lot of times would go, dude, I can't believe you were that way. And I'm like, oh yeah, let me tell you some stories, because they know me now the way I am. I was still a great guy, I just wasn't as good as I could have been, because I had this
Mm.
little thing that had me by the throat, man.
Did you always want to be an entrepreneur?
That's a good question. And even today, I think I'm a better entrepreneur than an entrepreneur. I like to be part of a team. I know what my skill set is. I know one thing, and it's if anybody's familiar with the Enneagram, I'm an Enneagram 8. And it's I will not be betrayed. I will not be controlled. So I make the worst employee if you treat me like an employee. But if you let me operate as an entrepreneur within your organization, I will get you the result that you're looking for. But and this is not ego, it's just because this is the way I'm wired. It has to be my way. And I always use the example of KW Exton. And again, I just brought something different to the table. I did not follow the model. I did not follow what the company wanted me to do. I followed my love for human beings that just happened to be real estate agents. And we went from roughly 100 agents to 300 agents, roughly 100 million to almost $1 billion in production, 100,000 in profit to $1 million in profit, just on the real estate side.
Mm.
We were ranked number 8th in the United States in percentage of production growth in those 5 years. Number 8th out of all real estate offices. And I had a great team, but man, and anyone that tried to recruit me before, I would say, just as long as you let me do what I did there, you're going to find, and most of the time they tried to control it. And I was like, you're going to hate me because I'm not going to listen to anything you do. But my last round was in a market that recruited an average of 100 agents. I'm sorry, 308. My brain's going 100 miles an hour. 30 agents a year, maybe 40 agents a year. And I stepped into a brand new market in South Jersey. I recruited 101 agents.
That's almost 3 times. Yeah, wow.
Yeah,
Or
and
over.
most of those appointments had nothing to do with the company. Jay, tell me your dreams, man. Tell me your goals. I want to know. All right, we're gonna work out a roadmap to help you get there. Bam, bam, bam. Oh, while you're here, let me just show you real quick. Let me make you an offer to join our company. Sign here. Let's rock and roll, man. I will not let you down.
Why is it important to know the dream?
Yeah. Well, they don't. The biggest mistake, as far as I'll talk about recruiting, is they want to sell the agent on the company. Like, that's pretty simple. I want to know about your dreams. I want to know your goals. I want to know why it's important to you. I want to know how you felt. What was the most successful day in your life? The most disappointing day in your life? I want to know where you came from.
Hmm.
I want to know what books you read, what podcasts you listen to. And that way, my goal is to make sure that you leave there with a life and business plan where you can take that and be successful anywhere. right? But now I'm just going to say, by the way, this is what it would look like today at EXP. This, that. Here we go. This is what your net income is going to look like. This is what your stock's going to look like. This is what your revenue share is going to look like. How long do you plan to be in the business? 15 years. Okay, let's take that out. 15 years. This is what you're looking at. Oh, and by the way, we're going to implement the B5 method to make sure you're healthy, you're happy, you're fit, you're living a vibrant life. Your wife, husband, boyfriend, girlfriend, kids love you, adore you. You're living your dream, man. Yeah.
What's B5? Brain, body, what else?
Yeah.
Go through
B5, the B5 method is build your brain, build your body, build your business, build your brand, and build your bonds.
Why brain first?
That's everything. That's your command center. So it's how do we, we were talking about mindset. Mindset is a myth. Like, if I were to ask some of the gurus that stand on stage, go, number one, you have to have a great mindset. Like, what the fuck is mindset? What is that? Right? And well, you just have to have mindset. Mindset is, when I break it down, it's brain chemistry. So how do I help Jay? How do I help my tribe? Starting with myself, mindset is what chemicals are releasing from my brain. I have a say in that. So those 4 questions that we went over, plus a gratitude list, I know for a fact, number one, in the morning, that's the time of the day where our cortisol is the highest, because our brain is still primitive and it thinks we are in a cave and there's a saber-toothed tiger outside. So it's like, I have to stay alive. What's wrong? What could go wrong today? Let me check my phone. Let me see what's going on. If we don't do that and we go, what am I most grateful for today? Thank you. If we just wake up and smile and say the words thank you 10 times, that will change everything. That gets the oxytocin, the serotonin, and dopamine flowing. Now we've got a mindset, man, and we're moving. So that's build your brain. Build your brain is also the habits of, as Alex Hormozy would say, being able to point to an undeniable stack of evidence that shows you or me that I am who I say I am. So that's build your brain.
What about body?
Body, it's heart rate up, break a sweat, and do some kind of resistance training every day. And that could be a 3-minute workout, dude. And here it is: a minute of jumping jacks, a minute of push-ups, and a minute of air squats.
A minute straight?
Excuse me?
Like straight, a minute straight?
Yep. If you can't do a minute, do 30 seconds. That's just for starters.
What's great about those 3 exercises?
Yeah. So you're number one, like we start backwards, air squats, you're going to, the biggest muscle is your quad. You're going to smoke that pretty good. Right now, of course, I could get into, this is like a workout for somebody that says, I don't have time. I can't get to a gym. I can't afford a gym. Right. There's lots of stuff that I could go over here, but it's going to smoke your quads. That's going to keep your fat burning for a little while. Right. The push-ups, same thing. You're going to engage your lats, your shoulders, your triceps. Right. That's going to be, that's like a mild dose of resistance training. Right. Both the squats and the push-ups. And the jumping jacks, dude, try to do jumping jacks for a minute straight. It gets your lymph system pumping. So all the poison's getting pumped out of your lymphs, right? It's definitely going to get you out of breath. Yeah. It's going to get your heart rate jacked up.
Where do I start in business?
Excuse me?
Where would I start?
Yeah. So business is a few things. Number one, a handful of behavioral assessments. DISC and the Enneagram is what I use. And then put together what I call a GPS. It's a one-page business plan. And it used to be called, or still could be called, a 135, but I think that's copyrighted somewhere.
Mm.
But in short, it's very simple to follow. It's your main goal, business goal. Could be income, it could be production, it could be profit, whatever you want that to be. Then 3 sub goals that are going to support the main goal. And then 5 strategies underneath each of those sub goals. And what it's designed to do is deliver predictable results, even if you fail at it 60% of the time. And working in your strength zone. That's the most important thing.
Why?
Because that whole thing of, do you ever see that circle that says your comfort zone and a little circle that says this is where the magic happens? That's another bullshit myth that the gurus say. So we all have greatness within us. We've all been designed with something, right? So I will never be able to, it's very unlikely that I'll ever slam dunk a basketball, right? You could yell and scream and motivate me all you want, probably not going to happen. So anybody can do anything temporarily. But a lot of times it will start to cause stress, and it'll break down our soul, or it'll affect our health. So I'll give you an example, like cold calling. Most people don't like to cold call, right? So the cold callers will say, well, cold calling works. And I say to them, and so does prostitution. How does your soul feel at the end of the day with both? If it feels great from cold calling, if that's your strength and you're like, wow, I get revved up doing it, do it. Keep doing it. But I can only tell you that I hit a level of frustration in my recruiting world where I would call, hey, this is Ed Fordyce from KW, want to get together and dissect your business and blah, 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 blah. Can we meet? I want to show you about KW. Blah, blah, blah. I was skilled enough to get you to say yes on the phone, and then have you cancel the appointment an hour before. And now there's some people, God bless them, they can do that all day long with recruiting appointments, and God bless them. If it's working, keep doing it. If you feel good about it, keep doing it. I started giving away free coaching sessions. That's it. And then they would say, what would it look like? What would my business look like at your company? That's what I do now. I don't recruit anybody. That's my strength zone. And that came from a great coach, Mike Zullo. He was like, dude, be your best authentic self. I saw a great speaker last week or this week. Jesse Itzler.
Yeah.
He lived with David Goggins, I think, for a little while. And his whole thing, dude, was becoming a spiritual billionaire. And being your best authentic self. Like make people feel you, make them feel your soul, right? I literally had we brought on $100 million team, and the leadership team that they left, they were great. They're great. They're some of the best minds in real estate, man. And I was like, you know what? I'm not him and I'm not him, but let me tell you who I am. Like, I'm willing to die for your family. And I mean it. Like, I don't mess around. I'm like, no one can outlove me in the real estate business. No one can outlove me. I've got great people with the strategies and the wealth building stuff around me. But if you're looking at me, no one will have your back the way I have your back, because I care about your kids. Like, I go right through the person into their family. And I tell them, if 6 months from now, your son and your daughter aren't coming to you saying, Daddy, I'm spending more time with you. Mommy, I'm spending more time with you. Thank you so much for showing up. Or you're sleeping better, or you stop drinking, or you're more fit, then I have failed. The real estate part's easy, man. That's easy. That's the science of achievement. I don't know how we went on this rant, but I just went on a rant there. Oh, it was just being my ripping the cover off, ripping
Mm.
all the masks off. Here's Ed Fordyce, real and raw, man.
Does that relate to the brand piece?
Yes, you just nailed it. So it's so cool. I just had a conversation yesterday with a guy that did my videos for years. And I was like, dude, like, what's my brand? What's my brand? What's my brand? And he's like, dude, your brand is Ed Fordyce. Ed Fordyce is the brand, right? And with that comes everything real estate. With that comes the B5 method. With that comes me playing a small part in eradicating human trafficking and child sex slavery. With that comes helping veterans not commit suicide. With that comes keeping addicts alive. With that comes pouring my heart and soul into every person that I come across, because that's the promise I made my father on his deathbed. That's the brand. So sometimes we don't have to niche it down. It's like, this is the brand, man. This is who I am. This is what I bring. I just happen to be in the real estate world.
Mm.
Yeah. So that's the brand. That's the brand. Yeah. And I think the way to uncover the brand is, hey, like, and I'll ask you, like, when you hear the name Ed Fordyce, what do you think of? 3 words.
Teacher, coach, lover.
Cool. Ken Jordan. What comes to your mind?
Oh, fun. Uh, coach, lover.
Nice. I wonder why we're working together. We're in alignment, right? It's pretty cool. Yeah.
How did you meet him?
Good. I think, I don't know if somebody introduced us. If I were to guess, though, I had put out that I wanted to interview people. And I just had separated from my wife. And I was living in this pimped out penthouse in in Westchester. And again, just I'm so blessed to have great friends. I'm so grateful to Kid Anstey for what he has taught me through the years. And I called him and said, dude, I'm moving out. I need a place. He's like, just so happens a 10 of mine just moved out. I got this pimped out penthouse above the Market Street Cafe or whatever that thing is, somewhere there. So I was doing interviews there, and Ken Jordan, I think, said, hey man, I would love to do that. And that's where we sort of really connected.
Mm.
I was like, man, this guy's the real deal. And then I just watched him, how he navigated with his, I have it right here, with his blueprint. The dude's the real deal, man. He's a Delco boy. Like, he's the real deal.
Mm.
Yeah. So that's the brain, body, business, brand. And then the last thing is bonds. If your significant other, your kids, your intimate relationships, if we don't have them, we're broke, man. We're broke.
Mm.
And there's some deep questions that I ask people to help them not bullshit themselves, especially when it comes to their husband, wife, partner. That helps them really look at that. And all of this, dude, just, I know this is cliche, but I have failed miserably in brain, body, business, brand, and bonds.
Mm.
Failed miserably. But I realized that through those failures, I call it, I was earning God's stripes. I was just earning the stripes, man. I was earning the stripes, and I don't regret any of it. I am committed to being the best. This is going to sound funny. The best ex-husband ever. I'm committed to being the best pop. I'm a new pop ever.
Wow. Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah, she's 8 months old. First Halloween last night. I want to change the scope in real estate and how it's done. I want to bring so much more to that playing field. And it's fun because most people don't bring, because of recovery, I can ask the questions, and the calls I get sometimes are, dude, I made 100 grand last month, made 120 grand the month before. I just bought my 5th apartment building. My net worth is blah, 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 blah. And I feel like jumping off the Skyway Bridge. What's wrong with me? And I'm like, all right, man, it's time to get to work. And I take them through, just some self-discovery stuff. I send them to certain doctors to get their blood work done. And we go to work, and I love it. I love to create supermen and superwomen in anywhere between 90 days and 180 days. Love to do that. And I love to bring them on as partners. I love to work with great human beings, man. And it's an absolute blast. I'm so, so blessed.
Someone listening wants to get a hold of you. Fastest way to connect with Ed.
I'm wide open, man. The fastest way and the best way is text me, 610-246-6852, or email. That won't be the quickest, but ed@edfordyce.com. Or social media, man. Just look me up, hit me with a DM.
Ed, thanks for coming on the show. It really means a lot. And man, I'm grateful that you're in Ken's life and to see you guys, what you're creating. It's been a
Dude,
blast.
it's been a blast, and it's great to see, it's probably been, I know we've stayed connected a little bit through the years, but it's been probably 8 years since since we really connected. And how you've grown, dude, I'm so proud of you. I'm so happy for you. And I'm always cheering for you, man. You're awesome. And thanks for having me on the show.
Thank you. That means a lot. And if you're listening to this, follow Ed. Give him a call. He's the real deal. He will be there for you. And please leave us a review in the Culture Matters podcast, and we will see you next time. Thanks, brother.